I think it was Isaac or Justice, somebody who was trying to come up with ideas of how we can have a direction towards this revolutionary movement. And my suggestion would be, Kenya, as we speak, is moving towards the drain. Secondly, we are all Kenyans, and all of us are involved in one way or the other. And I was thinking, you see all these professional bodies that we have architectural bodies, we have teachers' body, we have a farmer's body, each and every profession somehow, even the accountants like us, we have our body. And I was thinking, why, instead of looking for this leader that we don't know where the person is, who the person is, why don't we make use of these bodies? Because these bodies, there are contributions that are always done. We need money. Revolution need money to partake. And we could use the structures for the demo, or for the demonstrations. I think that's the right word. Because when we come to farmers have their things to talk about. When we come to teachers, we come to students, we have the HELB, and we have Adani and the KAA. We have lawyers who basically feel the laws are not, our constitution is being drowned, and we are watching. We have old people with their pesa ya wazee. So how do we do it? We can agree on Monday. It is the lawyers taking lead. All of us as Kenyans, we follow from behind. Lawyers are everywhere in this country. So everywhere where there are lawyers, they all converge at the lawyer's office, the law office that is in that particular place, and all of us will live together as Kenyans. On Tuesday, we go to maybe old people, our old wazes, watoke kwa nyumba, just to send a message. And we will need media coverage here. That is just but an example, just to help Isaac or Justice, whoever mentioned this. And then I want to say that lastly, as I drop, my lens for getting my next presidential vote goes to any presidential candidate, any, who is going to convince me and explain to me properly how he'll chase away Adani from our airports and energy sections, because the clause that have been put there in those writings, I believe you people read and you know them. It's very difficult. But I need a president that is going to chase these people away, and any other person who is bought our country, and anybody who's going to send the colonial powers away. The likes of Bill Gates, sahi nimesikia amenunua karibu Machakos yote. So literally, what we are going to do, we have to ensure that the presidential candidate that is going to come is not emotionally driven. We don't want emotions, but you have to be clear on your mandate, on what you are going to do. And for me, it's, if you can convince me, Adani will go, and part of Kansas City is going to get back to us, I am fine. Thank you, Pipita. I yield my mic.
All right. Thank you so much, Nyara Dwen, for that. Ladies and gentlemen, pale hivi juu kuna tips ya line. Ingekuwa si Obeds, leo tungeenda 0-0. Ingia pale hivi ndani and support the show, of course. Help us keep the lights running on this side of the studio. Yes. I see the one and only health OU. Nani Western kwanza kwenda kutable evidence. Western alikuwa na evidence ya kwenda kwa meza. Alikuwa anasema kwamba eti Kibaki ndo alifuta Ruto. Huyu mwenye anasema Ruto ndo alifuta ni. Hebu tuambie Western, what are you guys saying? Unajua sisi tulikuwa wadogo, tulikuwa tuna watch news juu ya Edith Kimani.
Thanks, Pepita, if you any simple Google search 15 years, 20 years, even 30 years from now will report on the happenings yesterday in Kenya's Senate and the other week in the National Assembly. These are news of not just public interest in Kenya. but of global interest. So, the supposed sacking of William Ruto is 15 years ago. Surely it should have made headline news, not just in Kenya, but globally. So here we go. This is Reuters of February 14th, 2010. I will read verbatim. Kenya's Prime Minister, and at that time was Raila Odinga, suspended 2 ministers over corruption allegations on Sunday, after the president took the same action against 8 officials in moves that will please donors but underline coalition divisions. It ends there. Prime Minister Raila Odinga said former ally, Agriculture Minister William Ruto and Education Minister Sam Ongeri should step aside for 3 months to allow further investigations into scandals in subsidized maize and education programs. Then we go here, another news from Mail and Guardian. This is a South African newspaper of 15th February 2010. That's the following day. The headline is Kenya, President reinstates minister suspended by PM. Kenyan President Mwai Kibaki on Sunday evening reinstated 2 ministers who had been suspended hours earlier over fraud investigations by his Prime Minister Raila Odinga. The president said that he had not been consulted and Odinga did not have the authority to order suspensions. Therefore, in quotes, office, end of quote, he said. So who tried to sack William Ruto? Who is it? How could Mwai Kibaki sack William Ruto, whereas William Ruto was a cog in Mwai Kibaki's succession? In the sense that without William Ruto, Uhuru Kenyatta would not have defeated Raila Odinga. How? How could he have sacked him? Facts.
Anakujanga na bahasha hivyo, evidence.
I knock off. I just want to end with this phrase that I hear: an enemy of our enemy is our friend, which means anybody who is opposed to William Ruto is our friend. I'm not so sure we can go like that, because even if you just look at that phrase, it's completely flawed. So let's say the enemy of your enemy is a murderer. Does that make him your friend? The enemy of your enemy is a genocide. Does that make him your friend? The enemy of your enemy could be a rapist or a psychopath. Does that make him your friend? It doesn't make sense. So it cannot be true that anybody who is opposed to William Ruto is our friend. No, it can't be. We don't know the reasons as to why you're opposed to William Ruto. Chances are they're not similar to ours. So we're not reading from the same script. Let us not lower the bar. We'll get into problems. Thank you, Pipita.
All right. Thank you so much, Western Shilaho. Jamu, what do you have to say to us?
Well, I'm going to try and make sure against Ruto is not a qualification ya kukua our leader. We cannot lower the bar that low. There's something real Joe alikuwa amesema earlier. We need to raise our bar. The best qualification for being our president should not be that you oppose the current president. Wow, no way. Alafu, we cannot use tactics za kukosa accountability while fighting for accountability. We're not simply looking for figureheads. We're looking for values. We're looking for principles. We're looking for systems that work. Now, ukituonyesha along the way that accountability is something that you're allergic to, we should not even touch you with a 10-foot pole. So I like Ville Western called it exactly as it is. Some of us may have been a little bit too diplomatic. If it quacks like a duck, walks like a duck, I mean, just hakuna haja ya kuargue kama ni mbuzi, it's a duck most likely. alafu kuna vitu I think maybe we also need to check ourselves and become citizens of integrity. And I think a big part of integrity ni consistency, right? Haiwezi kuwa mtu fulani akiiba ni sawa, wizi ni sawa. Mtu fulani akiiba, wizi ni mbaya. Right, like we need to show consistency. Yes, I understand life is not black and white. It has its own complexities, and we can't run away from that. But to the greatest extent possible, I think we need to check ourselves and maintain consistency. Kulikuwa na kitu ilikuwa inaitwa Kenyans home, and there was a big fight. Kafafu hapa hivi TL kwa TL. And the fact that branding had been stolen. Stealing intellectual property is something that we should take seriously. But tukaamua juni mtu fulani hiyo kwani Kenya ni wapi, we trivialized it, right? The whole idea of being Gen Z movement, Gen Zote, whatever you call it, that was something that already existed pre someone showing up and deciding to become our leader. But then they took that. Yeah, that to me is a form of stealing. The concept of civic education, ilianza wakati people even started to translate the finance bill into different languages. So that concept already existed, that momentum was already there. And then someone comes and decides, I am kind of the owner of this concept of civic education. Na nitapeleka crusade kwa kule mashinani and do something that is very alike to what the likes of Ruto do wakati wako juu ya magari and call that civic education. Na tafadhali nipatieni pesa. Na sitawaambia mnanipatia ngapi. By now mnaweza kuwa mmenipatia hundreds of millions, lakini hamjui na sitawaambia for reasons that I decide are valid. And then there was this idea of inject, right? It was something core to the movement, and it meant something. It had a meaning. But then someone decides to show up and take it over. They didn't come up with it, and now they own it. Man, like this duck is not just quacking, it's not just walking like a duck, like acha iko na ducklings. Na bado tunaulizana kama ni duck. So I think we need to be more alert. We need to be so clear-minded, and I think perhaps kwa hii movement yote, the thing to safeguard more than anything else, at a personal level, and maybe even at small community levels, is it's our minds, it's our hearts, it's our psyche. Tusikubali mtu invade hapo, because once we are violated at that level, tunaweza pelekwa to the sea. And we've seen that with preachers, we've seen that with all cult leaders, and so the moment our minds are violated and invaded, hatuna hope. Maybe one very quick last thing to say ni hii jina leaderless. Ati tuko leaderless. See, we've been leaderless. Does anybody here believe that we were ever leaderless? I don't think we ever were leaderless. We were always, someone said, this is someone else's. Someone said, we were always leaderful. What leaderless simply meant leaderful. There was leadership in all kinds of corners. Kila mahali, kwa soko fulani, kanisa fulani, university fulani. And because of that, we were very unpredictable. And that unpredictability made the government, but really we saw it with our own eyes. The government was confused. Inaamka leo inasema hii kitu imefandiwa na Russia, hii kitu imefandiwa na China, kesho wanasema iko funded na US, iko Ford Foundation, ni Uhuru, ni Rigathi. Oh my God, hii ni Illuminati. Walikuwa confused because we were leaderful and we were that decentralized. I think that continues to be our strength. The moment we try to be herded like cows, like sheep, into one pen, it will take just one missile to completely decimate us. But the more unpredictable we are, the better. So I don't think, I'm willing to be convinced otherwise, but I am of the view that at no point was the movement leaderless. It was always and remains leaderful. What hii kitu ya watu kukuja kukua leaders is that they're trying to curtail the leaderfulness of the movement, to make katakata when actually it should proliferate. So that's my view. Asante sana Pipicha.
Thank you so much. Naona kuna mtu anaitwa Paul ameingia pale hivi kwenye Tibja. Thank you so much for that. I see the one and only anaitwa nani? Jina nisari health something. How are you doing? Opio Ouma. Ama nimemremove. Staki hata kwa spaces weekend because where it has been quite a weekend. But of course on 20th I will be in Uhuru Park. Yeah, definitely must go there to represent. So yeah, kama utakuwa probably labda uko out of the country ama kwenye utakuwa to go represent for the Mashuja, but I will be representing for the Mashuja. Yep, that's what's up. Yeah. Naona nani mwingine Ellis Hill ametujoin hapa. I'll go to Ellis, Luka Matoke, and then maybe George, as we call it, tonight at 10 p.m. for me on this side. Ellis, mambo.
Hey, poa sana. Pipita. Niko nasikiza lakini bwana ile tu na I can urge Kenyans bwana. Ile let's walk the talk. George ameongea vizuri sana. George amesema bwana, you know, to see the winners bwana. Now, okay, George is the kind of a guy who has to insult you so that you can prick your conscience. Not really insult you, to challenge you. Ili bwana uchemuke bwana. Na point iko hivi pipi. Look at this space tuko nayo. Uko hapa bwana, jamaa umestruggle almost 6 hours unauzi space tunakuja tunaongea. Katibu jakana kakitu. So these people we are fighting so much for and talking about, these are political class of their own. Wakupata mashida zao, guess what? They come together. Sasa Raila is a flag wa Ruto, and is the same guy who was talking so crazy and harsh about Ruto ruining the country. Oh, his foot soldiers are kina Orengo. See what? They are dancing Ruto's songs. So my point is Pipita. Let's practice what we preach. And I like what George said. There's no way Pipita utakuwa naenda lalaja. Umetuorganize ka space kama sasa umekuwa kama radio yangu. Kila pali naenda I turn on my phone. It's my KBC radio them days. Wakati kwa ni radio peke yake ilikuwa hapo. So I challenge, especially mtu wote umeongea leo. Eka 500 bana. Kanjirika moja kwa Pipita bana. How else can we support one another? Pipita has to be a president here to support. So I mean, it breaks my heart, Pipita. Wakati you keep on crying, bana. Watu amkusupport. So that tunakusikiza, we can see your struggles, feeding us this information. But we have to start from where we are, supporting one of our own. Na tujua ma politicians, they are not there for us. Hii vita ya Gachagua na Ruto sio yetu. Don't get emotional about it. When Gachagua is a billionaire with a B, billionaire. How he got that money tunajua ni wezi. Anapigana na billionaire wenzake. Wote ni wezi. Wacha wapigane huko. Because kuna mmoja wao alisema Gachagua ashikwe. Hakuna? Ama pesa za umma zirudishwe? Hakuna? Ni biashara gani Gachagua alifanya ili to be a billionaire? Ni gani alifanya? Ama ni entrepreneur? These are my point I'm coming to. Instead of Sikatai, we need to talk about these issues. But let's not be emotional about it. And then let's support where our strength is. Support young people like Peter Benyajoji and Lekosema, so that these young people, these Gen Z and Millennium and even the next one ataweza, to be running the next MPs, to be the next MCs, to be the next guys in that parliament. Because if you don't empower mtu kama Pipita aende kwa kwao aland for MP, na sasa hili tukuja tuseme sasa hii National Assembly lazima we change Pipita na your friends, who else tutamsupport? Kwa huyu jamaa bana hata za cabbage ni shida, atumtolei Hiyo tu ndio nahisi bwana. Tumtolee bwana, to support these young men of ours. The conversation endelea poa. And nimwambie ukweli Pipita. That's what I want you see. I brought a name sometimes back. Jamaa anaitwa sijui Naval. You know how much that guy serikali ya Kenya, anawalipa even in taxes in one month. Naval huyu jamaa ya kuna hiyo conglomerate of companies. He's in Kenya, he's in Uganda, he's in Congo. These politicians fight for those people. Those ndio wanatumikia. Huyo ni akienda kwa ofisi ya Ruto, hata akienda za Gachagua, hata waongei what do you want. Anapatwa kila kitu. The guy is paying 900 million Kenya shilling a month. Mbele yake ya power. Hiyo material yote, raw materials of all these companies, za mabati, za cement, zinatoka wapi? Ni zetu. Those are the true owners of our country. Those are the true owners who these politicians are fighting for. Even they keep on lining their pockets. Now these IMF and all these donors. So our true owners, wenzetu, ni mtu kama Pipita. Tumsupport. Anyway, Pipita, have a good day.
Thank you so much for that, Bwana Ellis, as well. Yeah, watu wangu pale hivi nina insistingi kuambia kwamba my show is independent, and the independence of it comes with a cost. Inakuja with a cost ya kwamba now I can't go to a politician nimwambie yo niko na show hapa hivi ni support. Ama niambie corporates, because corporates will be like, we don't like people swearing on your show, blah 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 blah. So we have tried as much as possible to keep it